So I just came across this video online. It's titled Jailed for Blasphemy. I never thought I'd leave prison alive, and it's published by BBC Africa. So yes, I'll go by the name East Coast Prince. Welcome to my channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But without further ado, let's check this out and see what happened and the story unfold on this. Let's watch.
After 4 years in prison on blasphemy charges, Mubarak Bala, a prominent Nigerian atheist and religious critic, has been released.
What's going through your mind right now?
Everything is new to me.
Mubarak is well known for his criticism of Islam and religion in general, which he frequently shared on social media. A controversial Facebook post in 2020 outraged many and led to his arrest after a group of lawyers filed a complaint with the police.
So, of course, Nigeria is heavily religious, and we're just seeing it reflect here. I never knew that social media could cause so much impact until something happened to me on social media last year, where a tweet I made blew up and other people took the tweet out of hand, and many people started turning it to something else. And in fact, the person in question in that tweet had to even sue most of the people that turned the tweet into something else. In case you guys don't know, there was a tweet about Nathan Ebasi and Mesin Chiwu concerning their son. You know, I actually made a tweet that the son looks like Nathan Ebasi in a photo, and I said it in a very good light when I meant that it looked like Nathan Ebasi. In fact, under my tweet I said, I hope he becomes a minister in the future. But somehow the tweet was tweaked and people turned it into something else. In fact, I saw a lot of Facebook content creators saying that they need to do a DNA test because the child resembles Nathan Ebasi. Blogs even changed the tweets, added other photos, implied it in a very different way, and people came down on me for such a tweet. So we could see that things on social media are no longer just things on social media. So it's important that we take whatever we put on social media very seriously, because especially in this part of the country, people get bullied. People try to oppress people. You know, a very religious country, things can happen, and that is what we are seeing here. We see it reflect here. This guy came out to say his thoughts, so you can't even openly say your thoughts online anymore. There's no freedom of speech in Nigeria. At some point, you might get arrested, you might get picked on, you might get targeted, and this might happen to you. So let's continue watching.
After 2 years in prison awaiting trial, Mubarak was convicted of insulting religion with the intent of breaching the peace, an offence under Section 210 of the Kano State Penal Code. He was sentenced to 24 years in prison after pleading guilty to 18 counts against him.
He was sentenced to 24 years in prison for a social media post. You can imagine how it is. First of all, the northern side is just on a different level when it comes to their religious laws. I know that the Sharia laws are very, very strong laws. 24 years imprisonment. This guy didn't do anything to anybody. It's not like somebody died in the process. This guy just said his own take online, and this is what's happened.
Mubarak's legal team say they believe he's still in danger, so he's being housed in a secure location, where he has his first meal as a free man.
Will you join me? I've missed all these things.
Mubarak's release comes months after his sentence was reduced, after an appellate judge ruled his original sentence was excessive. So there's a lot of secrecy around your release, and a lot of precautions have been taken by your team because there are concerns that there might still be people out there trying to harm you. Are you concerned about your safety?
The freedom is here, but also there is an underlying threat that I will now have to face. Probably all those years, those threats are only maybe they're out there while I'm here under some security system. The concern about my safety is always there.
I was in court when you pled guilty, and many people were shocked. Why did you decide to do that?
I believe that what I did then was saving not only my life, but people in the state, and especially those that were attached to my case, because they're also a target. Of all the calculations I ever had being an atheist, I always felt that the constitution of the federal government protects atheists and protects me.
I know you were in 2 prisons, so
You can see what he said there when he talked about what he did, pleading guilty, saved his life, and also saved the people around him. And that just shows what oppression can do and how threats can be, because he knows that the surrounding he is not safe. Regardless of the fact that he knows he's innocent and the charges are excessive, he only had to plead guilty because he knows that his life was at stake. And if he didn't plead guilty and he went home that night, he might not have slept in his bed or survived the night there. So he had to plead guilty and just tailor to what the people, pander to the people, so that whatever he's getting later, that he's way better than him losing his life, or his family people losing their life, or the courts and his lawyers losing their life over what he said online. Remember that religion is something that is more emotional than logical. It is sentiment over reasoning. That's what religion does. And because it's very emotional and it's sentiments, people don't think about what the truth is. People just follow what they feel is right to do, because it's emotions that are brewing in. And when there's a kind of heat in the atmosphere, it's best to just pander to the people rather than try to do it your way or do it the real legal right way. Because at the end of the day, we have a system in Nigeria where the people that are supposed to protect you might turn against you. The security system here is very, very low. So you could understand what this guy is saying here. Man, I could just imagine what he went through. Let's go.
initially you were held in prison in Kano before being transferred to Abuja. What was life like in those 2 places?
In the beginning, I was not allowed any contact whatsoever. No phone call, no visitations, nothing. When I was in Kano, I never thought I may get out alive. In Kano, it was about living or dying. But then I'm in Abuja, and now it's about just the freedom that I could smell, but I can't really get hold of it.
Do you have any regrets?
Well, my activism, my posting on social media, I always knew the worst would happen. And I always mentioned to people that when I took the decision to come out, I knew I could be killed. I knew the dangers, and I still decided to do it.
And what's next for you?
I have a lot to do.
You see what he said about activism. He knew that the dangers of activism, he knew what could happen. So being an activist in Nigeria, you either have to be ready for the worst or you will just lay low. And it's riskier when you have families. Most of the people that you see that are really strong and very vocal activists, most of them are single. It's different when you have families. When you have families, you have to do your activism on the low or support other activists one way or the other. You see how Don Jazzy gave VDM money. He didn't see John Jazzy coming out to fight against government, but he's supporting somebody by giving the person money. That's how at some point you might have to do your activism, especially if you are based in this kind of country. Then you see he had to leave Kano to Abuja for his security, and yet even in Kano he still had to live very low because of the whole thing. Even in Abuja, rather, he still had to live very low because of the whole thing. He had to leave Kano to Abuja, and yet in Abuja he still feels threatened. So you can imagine what Kano would have been like for him. It's crazy.
I have a lot of catching up to do, family-wise. I have a lot I hope to achieve.
Mubarak's arrest and detention sent shockwaves across the world and sparked a fierce debate about freedom of speech. For atheists and humanists in Nigeria, his release has been a relief.
Generally, for me, it's thanks and no thanks. Thanks that he is out, thanks that he's a free man, but no thanks because there is still that dent on him as if he committed a crime.
But there are still concerns. Nigeria is one of the most religious countries in the world. Blasphemy is an offence under Islamic law, which operates in 12 states in the north of the country. It's also an offence under Nigeria's criminal law.
Do I think Nigeria is safe for atheists and humanists right now? The answer is no. As long as there are places in this country where somebody can openly say this in name of preaching or in name of sermon, I don't think that this country, can be said to be a safe place for atheists, humanists, skeptics, and free thinkers.
As for Mubarak,
Remember that the way Nigerian is built heavily on religion. And if you check any society that is a third world country, or a society where the economic status and the social economic class is like this, you check it heavily and you see that religion is there. And one of the things that you see is that religion, in as much as you might belong to a side, we have to see the fact that sometimes religion is being used as a tool to keep people in chains, invisible chains. So if you are serving your God, also try to have a rationalized mind and a common sense that this religion that we are serving, it has taken people to different points. We see people doing the worst of things because of religion. You see people giving their last money to a church because of religion without even having food to eat at home, because they believe that the God will supply all their needs. You say it's faith. You see people being subdued to do all sorts of different kind of action in the name of religion. And you see people fighting their neighbors because of religious wars. And a lot of crisis has happened in Nigeria as a result of religion differences. So religion is being heavily influenced, religion is heavily the order of the day in a country like Nigeria and in many third world countries. And this has been used as a tool to keep people down in poverty. So we have to look at it and we have to say it as it is, because our mental states, until we liberate ourselves and become free thinkers and just try to reason for yourself and try to not just follow religion but question a lot of things, because it is possible that you might just be in a trap that you don't really want to be in. Well, I am a Christian myself, and in as much as I'm a Christian, there are some things I see that people say on the altar, pastors say, and I question those things like, is it true? So discover God for yourself and don't be among the bandwagon that just thinks about things in a very logical manner. With that being said, I feel like as the world advances, as the years go by, we need to make Nigeria a safe space for people that don't agree with religion, because to be honest, we are all human beings, and regardless of whether you agree about my God or not, in as much as I want to bring you to Christ, nobody deserves to go or to feel insecure in their country because they don't want to think a certain kind of way that the system programs them to think. Anyway, that's what I just have to say about this. Let's watch this till the end and let's just see what happens.
He's keen to make up for lost time. His son was just 6 weeks old when he was imprisoned.
How does it feel to see him back?
It's a relief. He's a bit shy. Forgot me in a bit, maybe.
Anyway, that's the end of the whole thing. You could see the guy later rekindled with his son, his family, just to show that, just to see that his family is safe. And well, we'll see what religion has done in the country and how someone is sentenced to 24 years imprisonment because he spoke against religion. Anyway, that being said, I'll go by name is Ghost Prince. Tell me what you think about this. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.